Good evening, everyone. This is Mosab Abu Toha. I'm talking to you from my room here in Cairo. I wish I could be with you in person to read some of my poems from my book and also some of the poems that I published during this ongoing genocide in Gaza, where my family is still stuck there, along with hundreds of thousands of civilians. And then I will end with a poem by Refaat Alareer, my very good friend who was killed by Israel. I'll read parts of this long poem that starts my book, Palestine AZ. Palestine AZ. A. An apple that fell from the table on a dark evening when man-made lightning flashed through the kitchen, the streets, and the sky, rattling the cupboards and breaking the dishes. Am is the linking verb that follows I in the present tense. When I'm no longer present, when I am shattered. B. A book that doesn't mention my language or my country and has maps of every place except for my birthplace, as if I were an illegitimate child on Mother Earth. Borders are those invented lines drawn with ash on maps and sewn into the ground by bullets. C. Gaza is a city where tourists gather to take photos next to destroyed buildings or graveyards. A country that exists only in my mind. Its flag has no room to fly freely, but there is a space on the coffins of my countrymen. D. Dar means house. My grandparents left their house behind in 1948 near Yafa Beach. A tree my father told me about stood in the front yard. Dreams of children and their parents, of listening to songs or watching plays at Al Mishal Cultural Center. Israel destroyed it in August 2018. I hate August. But the plays are still performed in Gaza. Gaza is the stage. G. How are you, Musab? I'm good. I hate this word. It has no meaning to me. Your English is good, Musab. Thanks. When I was asked to fill in a form for my US J1 visa application, my country, Palestine, was not on the list. But lucky for me, my gender was. K. My grandfather kept the key to his house in Yafa in 1948. He thought they would return in a few days. His name was Hassan. The house was destroyed. Others built a new one on its place. Hassan died in Gaza in 1986. The key has rusted, but it still exists somewhere, longing for the old wooden door. In Gaza, you don't know what you are guilty of. It feels like living in a Kafka novel. R. I was born in November. My mother told me she was walking on the beach with my father. It turned stormy and began to rain. My mother felt pain, and an hour later she gave birth to me. I love the rain and the sea. The last two things I heard before I came into this horrible world. Tea. In summer, I drink tea with mint. In winter, I add dried sage. Anyone who visits, even if it's a neighbor knocking at the door to ask us about what day or date it is, I offer them tea. Offering tea is like saying marhaba. They once said Palestine would be free tomorrow. When is tomorrow? What is freedom? How long does it last? The next poem. What is home? It is the shade of trees on my way to school before they were uprooted. It is my grandparents' black and white wedding photo before the walls crumbled. It is my uncle's prayer rug where dozens of ants slept on wintry nights before it was looted and put in a museum. It is the oven my mother used to bake bread and roast chicken before a bomb reduced our house to ashes. It is the cafe where I watched football matches and played. My child stops me. Can a four-letter word hold all of these? On a starless night. On a starless night, I toss and turn. The earth shakes, and I fall out of bed. I look out my window. The house next door no longer stands. It's lying like an old carpet on the floor of the earth, trampled by missiles, fat slippers flying off legless feet. I never knew my neighbors still had that small TV. That old painting is still hung on their walls. That their cat had kittens. Next poem. A litany for one land, after Audre Lorde. For those living on the other side, we can see you. We can see the rain when it pours on our fields, on our valleys, and when it slides down the roofs of your modern houses built atop our homes. Can you take off your sunglasses and look at us here? See how the rain has flooded our streets, how the children's umbrellas have been pierced by a prickly downpour on their way to school. The trees, you see, have been watered with our tears. They bear no fruit. The red roses take their color from our blood. They smell of death. The river that separates us from you is just a mirage you created when you expelled us. It is one land. For those who are standing on the other side, shooting at us, spitting on us, how long can you stand there fenced by hate? Are you going to keep your black glasses on until you are unable to put them down? Soon, we won't be here for you to watch. It won't matter if you blink your eyes or not, if you can stand or not. You won't cross that river to take more lands, because you will vanish into your mirage. You can't build a new colony on our graves. And when we die, our bones will continue to grow, to reach and intertwine with the roots of the olive and orange trees, to bathe in the sweet Yafa Sea. One day, we will be born again when you are not there, because this land knows us. She is our mother. When we die, we are just resting in her womb until the darkness is cleared. For those who are not here anymore, we have been here forever. We have been speaking, but you never cared to listen. Next one, shrapnel looking for laughter. The house has been bombed. Everyone dead. The kids, the parents, the toys, the actors on TV, characters in novels, personas in poetry collections. The I, the he, and the she. No pronouns is left. Not even for kids when they learn parts of speech next year. Shrapnel flies in the dark, looks for the family's peals of laughter hiding behind piles of disfigured walls and bleeding picture frames. The radio no longer speaks. Its batteries have burned. The antenna is broken. Even the broadcaster felt the pain when the radio was hit. Even we, hearing the bomb as it fell, threw ourselves to the ground, each of us counting the others around them. We were safe, but our hearts still ache. The title poem, Things You May Find Hidden in My Ear. 1. When you open my ear, touch it gently. My mother's voice lingers somewhere inside. Her voice is the echo that helps me recover equilibrium when I feel dizzy. Sorry. Her voice is the echo that helps me recover equilibrium when I feel dizzy during my attentiveness. You may encounter songs in Arabic, poems in English I recite to myself, or a song I chant to the chirping birds in our backyard. When you stitch the cut, don't forget to put all these back in my ear. Put them back in order, as you would do with the books on your shelf. 2. The drone's buzzing sound, the roar of an F-16, the screams of bombs falling on houses, on fields, and on bodies, of rockets flying away. Rid my tiny ear canal of them all. Spray the perfume of your smiles on the incision. Inject the song of life into my veins to wake me up. Gently beat the drum, so my mind may dance with yours, my doctor, day and night. One last poem from the collection. A rose shoulders up. Don't ever be surprised to see a rose shoulder up among the ruins of the house. This is how we survive. I'm going to end with um, 2 or 3 poems and then Refaat's poem. These poems were published a few months ago. This one is published by the New Yorker. Obit. To the shadow I had left alone before I crossed the border. My shadow that stayed lonely and hid in the dark of the night, freezing where it was, never needing a visa. To my shadow that's been waiting for my return, homeless except when I was walking by its side in the summer light. To my shadow that wishes to go to school with the children of morning, but couldn't fit through the classroom doors. To my shadow that has caught cold now, that's been sneezing and coughing, no one there saying to it, God bless. To my shadow that's been crushed by cars and vans, its chest pierced by shrapnel and bullets, flying with no wings. My shadow that no one is attending to, bleeding black blood through its memory, now and forever. What a Gazan should do during an Israeli airstrike. Turn off the lights in every room. Sit in the inner hallway of the house, away from the windows. Stay away from the stove. Stop thinking about making black tea. Have a bottle of water nearby, big enough to cool down a children's fear. Get a child's kindergarten backpack and stuff tiny toys and whatever amount of money there is, and the ID cards and photos of late grandparents, aunts, or uncles, and the grandparents' wedding invitation that's been kept for a long time. And if you are a farmer, you should put some strawberry seeds in one pocket and some soil from the balcony flower pot in the other, and hold on tight to whatever number there was on the cake from the last birthday. This is a long poem called the Gaza Notebook 2021-2023. It was published by the Los Angeles Review of Books, but I'll read just 2 parts from it. In 5th grade, I visit the school library. On one wall next to the door, a poster claims, if you read books, you live more than one life. Now I'm 30, and whenever I look at faces around me, old or young, on the foreheads I read, if you live in Gaza, you die several times. Stones of house after explosion get Alzheimer's. Some forget they were in a wall, in a bedroom or a kitchen or a bathroom. Some in a ceiling. Some forget they sat behind photo frames for years. A few stones forget they were stones, those hit by the bomb. I'll end my reading by reading Refaat's very important and famous poem, If I Must Die, which he wrote just a few months before he was killed in an Israeli airstrike. If I must die, if I must die, you must live to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings, make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze, and bid no farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite, my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope, let it be a tale. I'll read the translation in Arabic to honor Rifat and the language he loved, just as he loved English. فلا بد أن تعيش أنت. إذا كان لابد أن أموت فلا بد أن تعيش أنت لتروي حكايتي، لتبيع أشيائي وتشتري قطعة قماش وخيوطا، فلتكن بيضاء وبذيل طويل، كي يبصر طفل في مكان ما من غزة وهو يحدق في السماء منتظرا أباه الذي رحل فجأة دون أن يودع أحدا ولا حتى لحمه أو ذاته، يبصر الطائرة الورقية، طائرة الورقية التي صنعتها أنت تحلق في الأعالي، ويظن للحظة أن هناك ملكا يعيد الحب. إذا كان لابد أن أموت فليأتي موتي بالأمل فليصبح حكاية.
Hello everyone, my name is Lamal Takruri and I'm from March Meeting team. We will have time to take questions from the audience, but let me start with this question, Mosab. Expanding on the theme of this year's March Meeting, how do you think your voice, which is bearing witness to a very dark collective moment, resonates collectively on a global scale?
I think what is going on in Gaza is not a unique experience that people in Gaza are experiencing. But what is unique here is that the genocide is happening live. People in Gaza are not only witnessing, but they are shouting and screaming to the people outside. They are telling you, hey, you see, we are killed while we're trying to get some food. We are not only writing about our experiences and then the people in the world hear about them weeks or maybe months after that, but we are telling the people outside live. People go live on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter, and they share this experience. It's not like someone now reading maybe the diaries of Anne Frank or maybe reading Paul Celan's poems or Primo Levi's diaries or memoir. It's someone who is telling you, who is publishing his suffering right now to you in the outside world. And this, I think, doubles the hypocrisy of the world. I mean, no one would come in the future and tell their children, oh, we saw the people in Gaza, or maybe not only in Gaza, and in other places in the world, and we couldn't do anything. No one can say that, because being silent and being unable to end the suffering while it's happening, while people are screaming right now, there is no excuse that the people in the world cannot stop this. It's not something that we are reading about 50 years later. It's something that we follow minute by minute. And sometimes I'm surprised that I'm here in Cairo, and I was talking about something, and then the Egyptian barber who cut my hair told me about the name of the street where the massacre happened. So everyone knows, even not only that it happened, but where it happened. So every one of us now, whether in Gaza or outside, are part of what is happening right now. So bearing witness is, it's not only me, Musab, who lived in Gaza for 60 days, or who was kidnapped by the Israeli army, or whose house was bombed. It's not only me who is bearing witness, but every one of us now, because thanks to social media and thanks to many different platforms, we know that whatever is happening in Gaza is happening live. So everyone is bearing witness. It's not only me, the Gazan, who was wounded or who was kidnapped or who was dispossessed of his life there.
Thank you. Do we have questions from the audience? Okay. So let me also ask you this question. Mosab, tell us more about the strawberry symbol that we not only read about in your text, but also observe as a visual symbol in your posts, social media posts.
So, Lama, are you asking me something?
Yeah, I'm asking you. I'll repeat my question.
Right.
Cool. Tell us more about the strawberry
I can't
symbol.
hear you.
You can't hear me?
Now, can you start anew?
Okay. Tell us more about the strawberry symbol
Okay.
that we not only read about in your text, but also observe as a visual symbol in your posts.
Okay, so strawberries.
Yeah.
So I was born in a refugee camp in Gaza City called a Shadi camp or beach camp. And when I turned 9, my father moved my small family to Beit Lahia, which is a very beautiful and small town. Now I think it's becoming a city, but it used to be a town full of agricultural fields. And that city is known as the city of the red gold, الذهب الأحمر, which is strawberries. And my father-in-law is a farmer, and he and his brothers and the family in general, plant strawberries every year along with corns. But that city is famous for exporting strawberries to the West Bank, sometimes into Israel, and sometimes outside of the Palestinian territories. Um, so why strawberries became a symbol for me for Gaza? Because whenever I returned from a trip to the United States, Rifat would welcome me in my home, and then he would ask me to take him to the strawberry fields in Beit Lahia. So we would go to the strawberry fields, um, and he would never forget to bring his box of pun cards. So there was always this this tray of strawberries that we picked together, and a pun game that me and him and a third friend used to play. And we would bring some tea and some coffee and some sweet. But strawberries was always there whenever Rifat wanted to visit me. So he would ask me, "Oh, now welcome back. It's strawberry time." So Rifat came to represent something like Gaza for me. Um, and because we Palestinians have been fought against on social media, I thought of using a strawberry as a symbol for Gaza. Because Rifat is Gaza for me, because he was killed defending his people, and he decided to educate his people, his community, by teaching them how to write, teaching them about the English language, by encouraging his students. So he was teaching poetry and drama, etc. But whenever it was a literature course, he would teach his students about the craft, but also encourage them to produce their own creative work. So he would ask his students to write poetry. So he was a selfless person, and I think sacrificed his life. He never, he never feel he never felt afraid of speaking the truth to power. And in this case, to the United States, you can see from his Twitter account and different social media platforms, he was speaking truth to power. He was accusing America of not only supporting Israel, but also killing us by providing more and more weapons. So the children who died in Gaza were not only killed by Israel, but they were also killed by America. And Rifat was outspoken about this. And he sacrificed his life. And I thought it was a very dangerous mission that he was taking by speaking out loud while he was in Gaza. And no one in Gaza would ever think that Rifat would be killed that way. Because he was a public figure for us. He published his work in the New York Times, and he appeared on BBC and CNN. I mean, it was a huge loss. So this year we lost Rifat, and we lost a strawberry this season.
Okay, I think we have time for one question. Okay, so I think it will be my question then. Mosab, now that you're in Egypt, after your harrowing experience and evacuating Gaza, how has the shift in your physical location changed your writing?
My writing, okay. Well, to be honest, I left Gaza so far 3 times. This is the 4th time I leave Gaza. And I lived in different places. So I'm living in Egypt for the 2nd time. I lived in Jordan for 1 time. And the places that I'm living in right now are not places that I chose to live in. So I'm in Cairo not because I chose to be here. I'm forced to be here. I wish that I was coming to Cairo, with my family to take them on trips to show them the pyramids or show them some old buildings, especially in Cairo. It's a very old city. But I'm not here for the sake of, of exploring the city. I'm forced to be here. So I hate it because I hate Cairo now because I had to be here. And it's the only place I can stay. And by the way, I can't leave Egypt, by the way. I was supposed to travel to Sharjah and be with you in person. But because I'm Palestinian, I still haven't managed to get a permit to stay in Egypt, even for a few months. So I could go to Sharjah, but I wouldn't be able to return to Cairo to be with my family. So I'm stuck here. And I think this feeling of being stuck, whether you are in Gaza or you are outside Gaza, this sometimes constricts my creativity. And sometimes it inspires me to write about this new experience. There are lots of artists who lived in exile, but they could, so they were in exile, but they could travel to different countries. But for me, I'm here stuck in Cairo. I couldn't go back to Gaza because it's a very dangerous place. And there is nothing for me to return to right now. And the only thing that I can return to find are my books that are still under the rubble. So whenever I write poems, it's not a luxury, as I said in one of my posts. I write my poems as I pull my memories from under the rubble of my house. And my writing experience has been, I haven't been writing a lot, by the way. Uh, the most thing that I write, I use the prose form. So I'm writing articles, sometimes short stories. But poetry, it's not easy to write poetry right now, because I need to reflect on something. But now this thing that I'm reflecting on continues to happen. So I need a moment to be detached from the experience in order to reflect on it. But I'm part of this experience, and it still continues. So it's not easy to write poetry in the time of catastrophe.
For sure. Thank you, Mosab. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for your words. And hopefully we can host you in the future here in Sharjah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.